Guys, we're in the dining room today because the Wi-Fi is shit. And sometimes that just happens. So here's my dining room. Sorry, I'm not in the middle, so I look a little crazy right now. But we are going to sit down today with Faith from the Wildland Firewife. If you're not following her on Instagram, I highly recommend it, especially if your husband is a Fed fire or your spouse is a Fed fire, excuse me. Always have to work on that. It's not just husbands here. And that's something y'all need to keep me in check for because it's very important that we include everyone, partners, spouses, guys, gals, non-binary pals, all of y'all. Okay. There's a version of being a firewife that people think they really understand. And then there's Wildland. And that is just, to me, it is so different. You can't hold a candle, no pun intended, to a Wildland spouse. It's the unpredictable fire season, unpredictable return dates, holding down a life where you literally have very little control of when your firefighter is going to walk through that door. And on top of that, Faith is also a step parent, which I'm also a step parent. So you add in another layer of chaos. So we're going to talk to Faith today. I am very excited. She's been a wildland firewife for over a decade. She's a mom, and like I said, a stepmom of two. And she is the voice behind the Wildland Firewife. She started this page when she realized that the resources needed just weren't there. Most, like all of us who started some kind of page so we could start talking about it more. And then she also has written 2 ebooks. She wrote The Firewife's Guide to Staying Whole, and she's also written a financial playbook for wildland fire families, and more coming soon. This is an important conversation. I really want to start talking more about the difference between wildland, CAL FIRE, municipal, hotshots, all of that. There's so many different levels of firefighting. It's not just for municipals. And putting the emphasis on a wildland spouse whose paycheck depends on the federal government, it really puts into perspective other fire spouses' journeys, if you will. So let's get into it with Faith. I'm excited to have you guys hear her story today. All right, Faith, welcome. After some technical difficulties, we are back. We are ready to rock. Thank you for coming on and hanging out with me today.
Yes, I'm so excited.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Your husband's out on a fire right now?
My husband's on a fire. He actually comes home tonight, and I'm so ready.
Hey, and he's been gone for 14 days this time?
14 days this time.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not
Over
bad.
7 days usual.
What's the longest he's ever been out?
21 days, come back 2 days, and gone back out 21 days.
Ugh. Oh
Yes.
my God.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about you and your life as a firewife, as a
So
wildland firewife.
it's a wildland fire. My husband was already a firefighter when I met him. He has 2 sons from a previous marriage. So when we met, I kind of just jumped right in. Um, and then about 5 years later, we had an us baby. And through that time, he's been a captain. Now he's a chief, and he's just wants to keep moving on up. So trying to support him as
Okay.
best I can.
Okay. So tell me what you think the biggest difference is between a municipal fire family and a wildland fire family.
So definitely just the length of time that uh, Wildland is gone. It's, I would say, in I don't want to say easier transition, but it's definitely a transition that we have some time to think about. It's not as a quick transition as you guys have to deal with off and on. I know you said that you guys are used to it, but it just seems, for me, being a wildland firewife, that transition seems really, really quick. I have a longer time to process things, to then jump back into things, and that seems like flight and flight mode to me all the time. Is it?
That's a good way to put it because, yeah, sometimes it does feel like that. I think for municipal, it's more like there's this constant rhythm of just go, come back, go, come back, go, come back. But I'm always amazed by the wildland spouses because 14 days is, I think the longest my husband has ever been on a strike team was 16 or 19 days. I don't even remember. And that was so crazy. I think I blocked it out because I was like traumatized. I swear to God. So for me, I think it's the municipal spouses are kind of like used to the rhythm, just to go like constant kind of fight or flight, like you said, just constant chaos. We just, I don't know, we're just used to it, right? But for you and for wildland spouses, how does the reintegration work when they come home? Like if they're on a fire for 21 days and then they come home for 2, do you even bother with reintegration, or is it just like, "Hey, we got like a visitor for 2 days," and then and then they leave?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we try to do as much as we can as a family. And, he tries to get back into being into society because that's another hard transition for them. I mean, they're usually in the woods, they're out in a different environment, they're not in a house or a station. So just transitioning back into normal society, I think, is the hardest part for him. And exactly like you said, if he's coming home for 2 days, why even bother?
Yeah. How do the kids deal with that?
You know, our oldest, he's always just kind of been a rock star with it. The middle one has had some really hard times. And then our daughter, this season, I knew it was going to be a hard season for her. She's like, "Where's my dad? Where's my dad?" She's very into her dad. But the boys have adjusted pretty well, I would say. And hopefully my daughter will too, because it's going to be her life as well. So.
Yeah, so it's interesting, right? Because you've kinda so you've been with your firefighter for 10 years, so you've kind of seen, 2 of the kids just kind of roll with it, and then now you have your us baby, and you're like, "Okay, this is kinda different," right? Like
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the boys were very
yeah,
helpful in that because I have techniques now that I use with her. We have certain things set up. She has a box that she puts things in that are special to her and her dad, or she draws them a piece. She does some artwork or something. Um, so I have little techniques that I can use for her, but she's still little. It's still, I mean, it's hard for me to be away from my husband that long. So I can only imagine what it feels like to have her dad be gone?
yeah. And when they're on fires like that, is there a lot of communication, or is it I mean, if they're deep in the woods, I'm guessing, like, they don't get a ton of cell service, and it's not there's no, like, predictability on when you're gonna be able to communicate, right?
Right. Like I said, this one was kind of an easier one. So there was more communication. We got to FaceTime every night, which is nice. But FaceTime gets old. It's not your parent being like physically there with you. But most of the time, yeah, it's waiting for the phone call. It's being on call, like most of us are. Our life changes in a second. I always have to have the phone by me, if unless I'm gonna miss that call because I don't know when he'll be able to call again sometimes.
So, I'm glad you said that about FaceTime because I actually find FaceTime super annoying, and when the kids were little, it actually, for us, made it worse.
I can definitely see that. He just FaceTimed me like 3 days ago, and I sent him a text back and said, "I'm not in the mood to FaceTime." Like, I didn't have the capacity at that time to do it. So,
Yeah. It's so interesting. I don't think a lot of people talk about that, and it's, like, one of those things where I hear fire spouses all the time say, "Oh, we FaceTime every night. We FaceTime every night." If I was FaceTiming my with like when the kids were little, if we were FaceTiming dad at night, it would immediately draw massive tantrums. Like it would screw up the bedtime routine. I think he would FaceTime in the morning and it would be sometimes catastrophic, sometimes okay, depending on, how they slept or whatever. But at night, no freaking way. And so I think like a lot of people think it's so great, but I don't think they understand the detriment of the FaceTime phone call. And I know that probably sounds pretty shitty to some of the firefighters. So they're like, "Dude, I'm just trying to, like, talk to my kids."
yeah.
But it causes so much turmoil in the routine, and it's just I don't know. I've never been a huge fan of it.
Yeah, it really can. So, I mean, I always ask her even when he's calling, like, "Do you wanna talk to your dad?" I give her the option so she can choose just
I
like if
love that.
he's in the mood or not?
She's 4?
She's 4, but,
Yeah.
2, teenage siblings. She's a little sassy one for sure.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Okay, so what do you think is harder then, the physical absence of your firefighter or just the unpredictability of just fires?
Um, I think the physical absence, it's just kind of draining, you know? I'm on day 14, day 12. I was fine up to day 12, but now I'm just like exhausted. Like I'm ready for some help. It it's a lot, especially with the age range of kids that we have and all the different things they're going through, working, keeping up with the house. It's just I'm ready for my teammate to be back.
Yeah. So you're carrying basically everything. And step parenting.
Yes.
Tell me what that looks like when your firefighter's gone for a long period of time. How does the step parenting work?
Well, I know you're a step parent too. So always had the boys when he goes on a fire, they stay on the same schedule. We have a 19-year-old who lives with us full time now, but the 17-year-old comes and goes on his schedule. We have had a high conflict bio mom. So honestly, on top of being a Wildland fire wife, that has just been very challenging. Very challenging.
Yeah, say more because we could probably talk about step parenting for the rest of this podcast,
Yes,
but we
exactly.
keep it.
Yeah.
So I have been with a high conflict parent as well. And I mean, I will be very honest. When my stepdaughter was younger, she's much older now, so we don't have to worry about it too much. But when she was younger, we actually had to add a clause in that um the other parent had first right of refusal. My husband went on a strike team if he was going to be gone for more than 48 hours. And it became a constant battle because it messed up the routine, right? So, the kids are used to, I'm going to dad's this weekend, I'm going to mom's this weekend, or, I'm going to be with at dad's house for a week. And then, all of a sudden the conflict parent is like, actually, no, if you're not going to be there, then I want to take the kid back. And it's like, well, that's not healthy for the kid, right?
Yeah.
Is that the experience you've had, or is it different?
We have a little bit of the same experience. Actually, she wants the kids to be with me, or that's how it seems. On fire, she wants the routine to stay the same, but I think when dad's gone, it gives her flexibility to be like, oh, well, I could take him. I can not take him. Just, it gives her a little bit more, power, I would say, because dad's gone. So it just like you said, it's disruptive. I already have my schedule disrupted by my partner being gone. I'm trying to juggle everything by myself, and then I have this other schedule that's being disruptive. It's a lot. It's a lot.
And then the expectation also that's put on you, right, as the step parent to take care of the child when their biological parent is not there is also extremely stressful. I mean, you're already trying to balance your own life with the kids, trying to create like a stable environment, and then to add this pressure on dealing with the co-parent,
Yeah,
it's a lot.
it's
It's a
it's
lot.
it's a lot. I was just thinking the other day, like, man, what did I do to like get like just all this thrown on me? But I don't know, I must have some strength because it's
Yep.
a lot.
It is. It's crazy. What would you say to a parent who is, or a step parent who's kind of going through this? How would you say it makes, what would your advice be to make it kind of run smoother, I think, for everyone?
Honestly, I would just get it in writing what it's going to be exactly when there's a fire, how's it's going to work, and make sure that it's structured that way every time. We didn't have that, and we only have 1 year left, so we're not going to put it in writing now. But I would make sure that that is taken care of so that there can't be any gray, that it's black and white. And that would help your life tremendously if you could do that.
Yeah. I I agree with that 100%. Okay, PS, no one is bashing anyone here. Okay, we're just sharing our experience. I'm sure on the other end of the stick, they think we're the challenging ones, so whatever. I got a good question for you. Okay. Do you think the stress at home during fire season impacts how people show up to work, specifically the firehouse, like fire stations? And I don't know how your fire stations work. Do they report to a station? Maybe tell us a little bit more about how the wildland works and then how the stress at home really affects them at work.
So they do report to a station. They each have a station. They can move from station to station if like someone calls out and they need a replacement for that day. But they do have their home station and a home truck. Uh, you know, I think my husband deals with the stress like most firemen do. He internalizes it, is very quiet about it, and then possibly could have an explosion. Some type of behavior where something little will set him off, but it's really the stress from the fire station that he hasn't worked through. He's definitely getting better with that, but um it's a lot of internalizing, and I understand it's hard career.
So he's wildland. So is he considered federal?
Yes.
Okay. So your husband works for the government.
Yes.
Okay. And so they not only are they responding to wildland fires in their home state, they're potentially going anywhere there's a fire, right?
So they go
Okay.
all over the United States, and sometimes they'll go into different countries as well.
And does he go in? Has he been to different countries on fires before?
He's been to Canada. That's the only one I can think of.
Got it.
But mostly he's in different states.
And what made him decide to do wildland versus a municipal? Do you know?
He has thought about doing municipal, but he doesn't want to do the EMT work. He doesn't want to do car crashes and seeing people get hurt. He's can't do it.
He just wants to do fires.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that makes a lot of sense too. We were just having this conversation the other day about how there's a lot of people out there that don't want to be an EMT and don't want to be a paramedic, and they're dropping their medic like crazy because they just want to run calls and do fires. But the reality of a municipal department is that that's just not the case anymore. You're running medical calls probably, I want to say like 75% of the time. I don't know the statistics. So for somebody who just wants to do fires, that's a great way to do it.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good career if you can find a partner who's, tough and can stick it out with you, for sure.
Yeah, because wildland is a completely different animal. I mean, let's be real. So, okay, for I think most spouses who listen to this podcast already know, but the big difference between like a government job, government wildland, and say Cal Fire,
Mhm.
right? Because Cal Fire is run by the state. They don't typically go out of California, right? Fed fires still come into the state and basically run plenty of campaign fires that are not Cal Fire's jurisdiction, right?
So, actually, he goes to less fires here than he does in any of the other states. He's usually out of state for fires.
Really?
Yes.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just always so like, I never understand the difference, right? But, well, I mean, I do and I don't because I'm like, okay, so this is like federal land, right? So feds do all the federal land and then Cal Fire does all of the state land, right? That's basically the only difference.
Yes, that's basically the
Yeah.
only difference.
Yeah. God.
So, just depends
Um,
on which I can't say that word, jurisdiction it's in, that's who takes over the fire, basically.
got it. Got it. And how do you think the public kind of reacts to federal firefighters versus Cal Fire versus municipal? Oh, God, we're all doing tongue twisters here today. Like, what do you think is like the most general misconception about the three?
Well, I know that people know CAL FIRE works a lot. So I And I honestly, I don't know that much about CAL FIRE because my husband doesn't really talk about it besides the fact that I can never do that job because how much they work. I know that people automatically think forest is Smokey the Bear. That's all they think about. They don't really understand the distance they have to travel to go to fires. And then, I think county is just the they're the hot guys. They're the guys who kinda made it, is what it kind of seems sometimes.
Ugh, they're the ones that are running the medical calls all day, I guess. I don't know.
Mhm.
Sounds like a
Aw,
sweet gig, actually. My husband would be stoked to just run fires all day. Well, not for 21 days, so I don't know.
for sure. Long time.
Okay, so tell me about why you started your page, and then I also want to hear about these ebooks that you've written and put out because they're pretty fascinating. So, what started? What's your reason behind kind of starting your page?
I found a lot of firewives, which was really cool because I found that we have a lot of similarities, but I have not found a lot of pages about wildland fire lives. And I know, and we both know there's a difference. So that's why I started my page. I suffered for a long time in silence. Um, and in fact, I didn't even know I was really suffering. And then when I came out of that suffering, I was looking for some help and I couldn't find very much, and I just wanna help now. I don't think, firewife should suffer this way. I feel like there should be way more help for families and for us, and that's why I started the page.
Yeah, you think?
Yeah, well, I wish some things would change there because we really do need more support.
Yeah, I feel like it's slowly progressing that way. I think there's always resistance, right? Always when it comes to any kind of change in the fire service or just in general, honestly, there's always resistance, right? But it's so important for people like you and me to keep talking about it because it really is making a profound impact on the fire service. It's just going to be a trickle, and that's to be expected because nobody likes change, especially the fire service. So,
Yeah,
um,
hope so.
tell me about the first book you have is The Firewife's Guide to Staying Whole, and then you also just did a financial playbook, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, the Firewife's Guide to Staying Whole was just kind of a breakdown of all the things that I think like a new firewife should know. It teaches you kind of about the nervous system and how you are in flight and fight mode a lot and how hard that is for your body. And it just kind of breaks down the system and how it runs and what you can do in your home to help with that. And then the financial ebook, I don't know how your husband's pay is, but Wildland firefighter pay, there's so many different ways they get paid. And so I just really broke it down for a wife so they could understand the pay system basically. And, we have huge seasons of financial growth and then we have a steady paycheck. And it's really easy to live like a king or a baller during those summer seasons because, the paychecks are a lot higher. So it took me and my husband a long time to realize like, okay, we can live a little bit like ballers, but we need to also be saving that for the slow months. So that's
Ye
how I wrote that book.
Yeah. I think that's huge too. Not a lot of people talk about the, financial kind of up and downs of the service, and especially, during fire season. Obviously, there's a tremendous, jump in the paycheck, and, I mean, I see it all the time. I'm sure you do. Just I don't wanna say elaborate, but maybe just things that you don't necessarily need, and,
Right.
um, the frivolous spending that's probably not necessary. Um, so okay, that's great, and, people can order the ebook, right? And it's just automatic download?
Yeah, it's an automatic download. It's on Etsy right now. Hopefully I'm gonna be moving that to a Sand store so it's easier though.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So what's your plan for your page and for any more ebooks?
I have another ebook that I'm going to be putting out soon. I want to start having recipes because when it's just you and the kids, you obviously eat different. I just want to keep growing in whatever way fire wives need comfort and support. I have art projects kids can do. I am going to be making t-shirts and sweaters. I just gonna try to keep doing anything I can to support Firewife.
I love it. I love it. Okay, I ask everybody this question. What legacy do you want to leave for yourself, for your family, the fire service, all of it?
I think that my husband's gonna leave a great legacy for the fire service. He's a great leader. People already say that about him, and he's just going to keep moving up. He wants change. He wants the system to be different, and I believe he's going to do that. And for myself, I just want to make sure that my kids are okay, and I want to make the next fire wife's life easier than the one that I.
Yes. Amen, girl. Amen. Any last thoughts? Anything we didn't get a chance to talk about that you want to talk about?
I don't think so, but thank you so much for, kind of being an OG for me. I really enjoy like watching your pod or listening to your podcast and reading all your information you put out on Instagram. It's been really helpful, and I'm sure it's helped a lot of other stylists as well.
Thank you. I think it's important for like you more wildland fire families to really talk about it because it really is different compared to municipal and compared to Cal Fire. I think there's so many intricacies that many people across the country do not understand about wildland, federal firefighters. I mean, I'm sure we could talk about some political things, but we won't today. But just know, like, we really appreciate your family, and we really appreciate what your firefighter is doing. And his job matters just as much as any municipal firefighter and anybody with Cal Fire. And they should be paid accordingly. And
Yes,
that's all I'm gonna say about that.
you should. And no one should ever get a paycheck from them.
No, no one should ever hold their
Never.
paycheck from them. Mm-mm. It is not okay.
Yeah.
No. Mm-mm. Okay, Faith. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Your Instagram is
So
at the
the one,
Wildland Firewife.
yeah,
Okay. So if you want to follow Faith, you can catch her on at the Wildland Firewife. I'll put it in the show notes so you can see. And then we'll also have links to her ebooks in the show notes as well if you want to download those. And we'll just link them to her Etsy account. And then we just want to say thank you for listening. And we are so happy to just continue to have these discussions with other spouses who are going through the same thing and, just want to feel seen, heard, understood, and hopefully valued, because I think those are all the things that we were missing. And that's why we started talking about it. So thank you, Faith.
definitely. Thank you.